they are trying to take down this big robot. He can't really do it, and
See, the machine uprising is really gonna like be the end of us.
it's
Okay.
coming. It's right around the corner.
All right. Here we go. We are back. Hello for another relaunch.
Yes. What's up, everybody? I am LZ.
How are you doing today, LZ?
I'm pretty good. It's a nice day out. The sun is shining. I'm doing all right.
Nice day out. Global warming has been doing its thing. Okay,
it really has.
I can't tell you the last time I saw snow.
Yeah, it definitely. It was like 85 degrees here yesterday, and I was like, I don't think this is right.
Yeah.
but whatever, I guess.
It's just like, I don't know what you're gonna do. It's like, I got my legs out. I guess I'm not gonna complain too much. You gotta do what I gotta
for sure.
do.
The thighs was out.
Yeah. It's I can respect that. It's been like semi-warm here too. I haven't been going out. Again, I'm in DC. It's all inauguration mess down here. So
yeah,
watch out for getting boarded down. Oh no, I've been in the house, and luckily I had all these comics.
I know that's right. Yes.
So that was great.
Keep me focused on that.
Yeah. And so with that, let's go ahead and get into the books of the week. Now, we got the second week of DC Future State titles coming. Yes. The second wave. I read a few, not too many, but let's go ahead and get into it. Green Lantern #1, Future State. Did you get this? I assume you got this because obviously it is John Stewart.
Obviously, I had to get this because John Stewart is my favorite superhero. And it's with heavy heart to say that I did not like this book.
Oh no.
It was something, child.
The writer of this was Jeff Thorne, who also wrote that Vixen thing last week.
Yes, right? Yes. He's writing the Vixen, like that digital first series last week, which was whatever, but this was like
bad.
I don't know what was going on. Yeah, it was bad. Like oh, no. It was supposed to be the story of John and the Lanterns have like all lost their rings somehow, and they've been told by the Guardians to basically like go into further out sectors that they've never explored before and like make contact with these new planets, but something happened with their rings. Now they're trapped on this one world, and John is like fighting in this resistance, trying to help these other aliens or whatever. And the art wasn't very good. Honestly, the only real thing I liked in it was John's hair looked like mine. I thought that was kind of cool.
All right.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool.
For representation. Gotta love that.
Yeah, I appreciated that. But like, I don't know. The writing for it, it just felt it was rough.
Okay.
It did have other Green Lantern stories in it though, which I thought were better. The Jessica Cruz story was pretty good. She is trapped on this station and basically trying to protect it. And these two Yellow Lanterns kind of come in and they're about to like take this information from this station. And she is like, I know that I'm usually like afraid. And, she's the one. I feel like all of the Lanterns have their own kind of personalities or whatever, where John is the level-headed and very straightforward thinker. Cruz is she's scared and she has like anxiety issues and everything like that.
Yeah, I think like anxiety is a big part of her story, isn't it?
Yeah, and in this story, she's like, I can't be that anymore. That's kind of been her thing, is to kind of overcome her anxiety. And she has some cool moments in this where she is taking down these Yellow Lanterns by herself because she doesn't, again, the rings aren't working. So she has to use like these kind of cool traps within the station that she kind of set up to get rid of these Yellow Lanterns. And the ending of it, I'm just going to spoil it because whatever. She ends up becoming a Yellow Lantern.
Oh.
Because one of the Yellow Lanterns that she ends up like defeating, she kills, and their ring comes off of them and it goes on to her because she has the power to instill great fear as well as overcome it.
Okay.
Because the Yellow Lanterns were afraid of her because of what she was doing on the station. So I think that would actually be a really, really cool thing for her to kind of really dive into and go forward. Yeah, I hope that they kind of bring that into the current like timeline. This is one thing that I've really been wondering about DC Future State, because it feels very like placeholder until we get into the DC Infinite frontier.
Yeah.
But I hope that they really do keep this Yellow Lantern kind of story for her. I think that would be a really cool route to take her.
I agree with that. I always enjoyed when they like took the lanterns and put them into other colors, like when Guy became a Red Lantern for a bit in that book, and they had like Orange Lantern, Larfleeze, and all that stuff. I enjoy the different colors. Everybody doesn't need to be green.
I agree. I think that they've said before that, you know, why there's so many Earth Lanterns because I think the thing is like Earth just has this will to keep pushing, or humans anyway have that will. But I think it's really interesting when other Earth Lanterns don't always end up being green. They can, you know, dip into the other colors. And for her to go yellow, that kind of like really fits her story arc where they were kind of taking her. So I hope that they kind of keep that going forward. There was also a Guy Gardner story in this book where
shout out the Guy.
I know you like him, but he was born in this. He like his story was better than John's, but
that's not saying much.
It's not saying a lot. It's really not saying too much. He is out on this planet, and you experience the moment when his ring starts to fail. Again, we don't know why the rings are failing, but you experience when his ring starts to fail and he's on this random planet, and they all think that him as like this prophet, and he kind of goes with it. And he lets these aliens all think that he is this like prophet, and he has actually made them come together because they were these two different factions of this planet were going to kill each other over very dumb things. They thought that this space debris that landed there was like something sent from the gods, and they were going to fight over it. And one people thought it was like you were a heretic if you didn't want to praise the space garbage, while other people were against that. And Guy kind of brought them all together, and he ends up being there for years. And with these
this people. Is the Guy Gardner I love, you know, just
you might like it,
together, like making peace. Like this is who Guy Gardner is, and he just falls into it. He falls up. I love it.
Yeah, and he ends up like makes them make a foosball table for him. There were some cute moments in it, but overall, it felt like kind of boring, because I feel like we've seen this before with Guy, where he has been like the reluctant peacekeeper on a planet, you know, where he's like, I don't really want to do this shit, but I will help out anyway because I feel like that's what I'm supposed to do as a lantern. So I don't know. I probably won't get issue 2. I was actually really upset because you know John is my favorite. So like I was expecting something a little bit like something that would kind of push his story forward, and something that would give him something to kind of grasp for that you can kind of say, okay, cool, I can see where they're going to do post Future State. But I guess they are going to have a new Green Lantern series post Future State in like April, but it's going to be written by Jeffrey Thorne. Yeah.
Oh.
So I don't know if I'm going to get it. I may check it out just because of John, but probably not. I don't
know. Yeah, that's a catch-22 right there.
And I feel like it's just keep happening for me. I really do.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, that's Future State Green Lantern. So next up was one. Oh, I did get this one. Future State Justice League, #1.
Oh yeah, same.
This was written by Josh Williamson and art by Rob Rocha, I want to say his name is, and there was a backup story in this one by Ram V and Marcial Takar for Justice League Dark, which, really quick aside, did you see the April solicitations for DC?
I haven't checked them out yet, actually.
So, you know, they released them, and there's like going to be like more backup stories, and they're going to do a Midnighter backup story. Guess who has the Midnighter backup
story? Hold on,
story?
Midnighter, I'm here for that. You know I like Midnighter.
No. Guess who has the Midnighter backup story?
Who?
Superman.
Now, see, they tried it. DC tried it. So you mean I gotta go buy a Superman book?
Okay, like I was like, what? It's an Action Comics. I was like, are you serious
An
right now?
Action Comics book? Not
like,
even like Superman?
Like, I was like, are you serious? I was like, so I'm gonna have to buy this for like an 8-page.
Damn. Well,
I was like,
they got me. I'm probably
they
gonna
know
get
how to
it.
get you. But this is what I was talking about. This is what I was talking about with these little backup stories. I was like, I'm about to have to buy all these books that I don't
want. Yeah, I'm not the biggest Superman fan at all. I don't really like him in the least. So they got me because I'll definitely like Midnighter, so that'll be cool. But Justice League I thought it was pretty good. It was a good issue. I like the art. I know that you are a big Aquaman fan, and I have to say, I thought Andy Curry was really dope.
She was good.
I think she's cool. I like her little her Triton gauntlet things. I thought those were awesome. I like that she's like hydrokinetic too, like her mom. I think that's cool.
She had like a really nice. I think this issue actually did a really good job at kind of like showcasing everybody's personality from the jump. Like I felt like I knew who all of these people were. I've kind of dipped in and out of that Far Sector book that happens, and I will say in like the 4 or 5 pages, however many Joe was in Green Lantern in this one, it is the most interesting I've ever seen her than anything I ever read in that book.
I can tell you, I read Far Sector, and she was way better in this than she was in Far Sector. Yeah. She was way more like interesting, I guess you can say, and you kind of did more and tapped into her detective stuff. I think the solo series tried to really set up some stuff for her, but for me, it didn't really hit as much. Beautiful art. Love Jamal Campbell. He's a fave. But I wasn't really that into the Far Sector book. I read all the issues, but it wasn't hidden. But her in this was awesome. I think that she probably works better on teams because you really got to see her personality kind of shine through and like who she is as a Lantern.
Yeah, definitely loved all the investigative bits. Loved like kind of Batman sneaking up on her, and she's like, "I told you about that." She's about to rock him down, and just like again the dynamics of everybody else, John and Yara, thought that was really interesting. And of course, it's like a bit of a play on Diana and Clark and that whole time when they were together. And then Andy and the Flash of that universe and like how they're kind of sneaking around. And I was just like, it's kind of, I guess.
I also love that the Flash in this is non-binary.
Yeah.
But I love the way that they kind of let that out and the way that all of the characters approached that situation. And it wasn't something that they kind of made a joke or that they kind of, it was just a part of who the character it was. It didn't feel like it was the point of the character, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it was just like when they were using their pronouns, it just felt like, oh, they do this all the time. Like, yes.
Yeah.
This is normal.
It felt right. Yeah. I liked it. I really appreciated it. I really appreciated that. I think that there should be all different types of characters in these books, from all different types of like walks of life. I think that's dope. Right. And I hope that we get more characters like that where it just feels like right. You know what I mean?
Very much so. I really liked the villains of this book and how I guess it's kind of like typical superhero fanfare, the villains are impersonating the heroes and kind of capturing them one by one. But I like the fact that they were made to feel like important and it stuck. Like the whole time when we have like the introduction of the Legion of Doom and they're talking about how they're about to go after this new Justice League, and then we get to the next page and it's like, oh, the Legion of Doom are dead.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit.
Okay. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're kind of expecting that to be like some type of fake out and they still like play a role, but then no, there's another set of villains who actually is like a little bit more powerful and like doing some more stuff. So that was really fun to see. Overall, enjoyed this issue. Definitely going to pick up the next one. I enjoyed this iteration of the Justice League. Obviously, we're going to see some of these characters stick around. John still exists. Post Future State, Yara will be making her debut. Andy is alive and well. Joe, I don't really know how Joe works. If she's
so from what I've been told, or what I researched anyway, because I'm a Lantern fan. In her Far Sector book, the way that she never got a quote unquote real Green Lantern ring. There was this random made up new Guardian, really cool designer, by the way. I liked her. She was really cool. But this random Guardian met up with Jo while she was in a bar and kind of down on her luck and offered her this ring, like a temporary ring that it didn't have the full capabilities of a regular Green Lantern ring. It was like, but it also didn't need to charge. She didn't need to charge it like with a power battery. It kind of charged on its own. But I think she is going to get a quote unquote real Green Lantern ring in that series that I talked about earlier. Because in April, I guess not only is Jo, but that Teen Lantern character from the Young Justice series. Yeah. I think they are both also going to be in that series, and we're going to see Jo join that Green Lantern book later and see her get her own ring. And I guess she's going to be the detective in it to figure out why the main power battery on Oa, like I guess it explodes or something, and she's going to be the one to kind of figure out why it exploded.
Okay, all right, that'll be interesting. Maybe. Did you have you didn't read Justice League Dark, right?
And this I did, yeah.
Well, no, I'm saying like the series before.
Oh no, I did not.
So
I don't really get down with the magic, so no, I did not.
With that being said, did you like the Justice League Dark backup story in this?
I did actually. Again, like I said, I normally don't get down with the magic because, like, no, but I did like this Justice League Dark backup story in this. I was a bit confused because I don't really know a lot of the characters anyway. Like some of the things that they were talking about in it, I was like, wait, who is that? Or like, what are they talking about? I feel like this is supposed to be important, but I don't even know who that is. But like the concept seemed cool. I also did like that in this, the magic wasn't limitless. And there's consequences with it. And I love Khalid as Dr. Fate.
Dr. Fate,
yeah. I think that's awesome. He should stay.
He's always really fun to see. He was like him and the other Fate were a big part of the Justice League Dark series, and they were not a big part. They were like decent supporting characters of it, and it was always like really interesting to like see them interacting because Dr. Fate is one of those characters who I've never really gotten down with. He falls very much on that like overpowered spectrum for me. But I liked the relationship with Khalid because Khalid is obviously less powerful as Fate, and it was just like interesting trying to see him like reach those limits and like fail or do whatever and get the motivation that he needed to be. So that was fun to see. I did kind of realize with this Justice League Dark story that I think I am over this iteration of the team.
I was going to ask you that because it felt like the same. I've never really, like I said, I don't really read Justice League Dark, but I love comics, so I at least still see the characters together and stuff. And I feel like it's always Zatanna, John Constantine, Dr. Fate, and Etrigan all the time.
Like all the time. And so they were pretty much the main part of the cast for the original series. Like Man-Bat was in and out. Like I said, Tracy 13 would come and be supporting sometimes, as would the Dr. Fates. But
this one at least had Bobo, which I thought he was cute.
Oh yeah, Bobo and Swamp Thing. And so but they have been like the cast since the book first launched again. And so it's kind of been like, it's been great in the way that you've had like a long form story for these characters. You really kind of get like their characterization. They've had a steady growth in what they've been doing. But like you said, now it's kind of gotten to the point where it's like, all right, we've kind of told this story a little bit once before, once, twice, or three times with Etrigan and Zatanna and Constantine and all these other people. It's like we can either inject some new blood into this or let's try something new. So they're also going to be having their own backup, I believe, in Justice League, written by Bendis. So I probably have to pick that up
the Justice League is being written by Bendis. Is the Dark story also being written by Bendis, or is it?
No, the Dark story is still going to be written by Ram V.
Oh, okay. Cool.
It's just going to be appearing at the end of the Bendis Justice League issues.
No, they got you, child. They got you.
Like, I don't know what they're doing. Like, it's something like somebody's been reading my diary and I don't understand.
They were like, we're gonna make him by this Justice League.
I think that might be an interesting book.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Bendis might actually kind of fit if whatever kind of story he wants to tell with the Justice League, I think he might fit that a little bit more than what he's been doing recently. But we'll see.
We will. So there were two other Future State books that also came out, Robin Eternal and Teen Titans. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I did not read either of these. I think the whole kind of Red X Nightwing Deathstroke thing that I've seen solicited, it's just not really appealing to me. I'll probably read it on DC, their service. What's it called? DC Infinite now?
Yeah, DC Infinite. Yeah. It's like their little streaming service.
Yeah, I'll probably read it on there when it finally hits that. And the Robin Eternal one, I'm just not a huge Robin guy. So anybody, if you read those two, if you loved it, please let us know.
I did.
Oh, you did?
I did, yes. I love Starfire, so hello, I'm going to get the Titans book. I did. I also read Robin Eternal because hello, I'm a Tim Drake fan, so obviously I got
it's
that
Tim
too.
Drake? Oh yeah, I'm definitely not getting that. That is my least favorite Robin.
he's my favorite Robin. So the Titans book was, I think there's some good ideas there, but I'm not quite sold on what was actually going on. The plot was kind of confusing. I think issue 2 will kind of really help show whatever was kind of going on in issue 1. They have now an academy. It's like Titans Academy, and they have all these new heroes come in that this one black girl named Brat Girl, and she looks like she's a part of the Bat family. I think it's cute. And a bunch of other random new Titan characters. I'm not quite sold on Starfire being the den mother for them.
Okay.
I understand that she, was a part of the Titans or whatever, and she probably feels like that is quote unquote her home. But I'm not quite sure how I feel about her kind of just always being this motherly figure for all of them and trying to teach everybody and everything.
It's happened. It was a really weird shift that she took, because I remember during the Johns era, obviously Starfire was kind of in the mentor figure for that younger generation of Titans, but she never really took on den mother for them. It was very much I don't know, PE coach.
Exactly. That's what it's giving.
And so I don't know where the whole den mother thing came from. It's not something that I necessarily mind, but it's not something that I think really fits for her and rings true.
Yeah, I don't really think it really aligns with her character, but I'm not quite sold on it, but maybe I will grow, and maybe it'll grow on me or something, but I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about her being the den mother for all these kids. Cyborg is back with the Titans, and he mentions that, I think it was Beast Boy who said he got an upgrade, he got a promotion. So watch out for His Majesty. And he was like, hey, I came back. So I think that maybe maybe Cyborg might come back to the Titans somehow in post Future State. I don't know what's going on there.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I liked it. It was a tad confusing. The art was really good, but I think issue 2 might be a little bit better. I also think that it was weird seeing Starfire with pupils. I think that was kind of weird.
I hate when artists do that. I don't understand. It's the eyes just green, it's just green light. Just do it.
I also think that they need to darken up that orange a little bit. I think
her skin's getting light.
She getting a little too light. It's looking a little too light. I don't like that.
She's a dark orange. Let's get it correct here.
Let's get it right. Okay.
All right. So wait, Tim Drake is really your favorite Robin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked him. He got common sense. I love a character with common sense. The rest of them don't. So he's my favorite Robin. Nightwing is my favorite of the Bat family, but I think as far as Robins go, he's my favorite. And Robin Eternal was written by Megan Fitzmartin and drawn by Eddie Barrows, and the art was really good. I thought the story was actually Also great. It felt like you were a part of the Gotham stuff that they're doing with Future State, as far as that whole magistrate thing. I know that we talked about the Future State Batman book last week.
Yeah.
And it's fitting within that world of everything. Nobody really wants to help out anymore, as we've seen before, because of whatever the magistrate is doing. And Tim obviously is like, no, I'm not with that. I need to help take this stuff down. Spoiler is in it, and Stephanie Brown is in it, and she kind of comes and helps out with him.
Wait, Steph is in it?
Yes.
Okay, maybe I will.
See, now you want to get it.
Now I might have to go pick this up. You know, I love me some spoiler.
Exactly. Spoiler's great in this too. She's got this, we don't really know why, but like something happened to her eye. I don't know what kind of battle she's been in. And Tim is fighting these magistrate sentinels, is what I'm basically going to call them. They're these giant robots that are like, they say vigilante detected and they come and take them out. Again, the X-Men, the blueprint. So they are trying to take down this big robot. He can't really do it. A spoiler comes in and helps him, and they take it down. And he has learned that there is this like new Lazarus pit like stuff that they're going to be mixing with these robots so that they can kind of self-generate. And
the machine uprising is really going to like be the end of us. Okay,
it's coming. It's right around the corner. And he learns that there is a shipment of the stuff coming in, and he wants to go and take it down. There is this a deaf or hard of hearing character who is in it, and they have a whole sign language moment, which I think is really cool. And I guess she was someone who was in We Are Robin. I didn't read that series, but they mentioned in the book that she was a part of We Are Robin. So I guess maybe it's cool that she kind of came back and you see her again. I did like the editor's note while they were signing. It said like, these are not direct like ASL translations, so that people don't like try to drag us. They were like, don't even try it, y'all. We're just trying here. So I thought that was kind of a cute little moment. The ending was really cool because like Tim is fighting this thing, and then like he ends up getting hit with some Lazarus juice. So I think the next issue is going to be great. I enjoyed the book a lot. I hope that we see whatever kind of is going on with Tim in this going forward. I didn't really see him being portrayed a lot in the new Bat Family stuff that they're talking about post DC Infinite Frontier. And it looks like, I think they just announced a Robin solo series, but it'll be Damian. So
yeah, I did see that,
which actually looked pretty good. I'm definitely gonna check that out. But I hope we get more Tim post DC Future State, because this is pretty good.
All right, Tim Drake stands on the rise.
Okay, we hear y'all.
It's been a bumpy ride.
It is, child. Child, talk about it.
It's been a bumpy ride. I don't know. It's something about him and Nightwing. They just love throwing them through the ringer.
They do. Crazy. All of my faves just don't get it. They just either kill them off or don't give them the kind of shine. But this was pretty good.
All right. Okay. There you go, Tim. So next up, 7 Secrets #6.
I haven't jumped into this yet. I haven't yet. I know.
It's just, so this issue was really good. Again, like I've said before, I think Tom Taylor really excels at like character interaction and like compassion and making you care about these characters. And so that's what he's pretty much been doing for the last 5 issues. And this one, of course, like now he just comes in and tears you apart because like some of them start dying off, like bad things start happening to them. Again, like there is this organization of people who hold onto like the 7 biggest secrets of the world. And there are keepers and holders. And so the keepers protect the secrets and the holders like holds the briefcase that has it. And so they're this villain group who's coming to get them. And they actually managed to get one of the secrets. But the thing is like when they open it, like, I don't know, they all explode and like everybody gets set on fire or some shit. It's like crazy. It's wild. It's like really
snap. Okay.
Yeah, it's just like, whoa. It's like don't open these briefcases. Apparently.
Yeah, because you're gonna die.
Yeah. And so that happens, and then like the protagonist of the story, he's kind of like been growing up in this organization, and a small group of them get away, they're kind of also realizing that there's a mole in their organization on like how this group keeps finding them. And so like one of the main like heads of it, she's like the number one keeper, she like dies. But before she dies in the book, she's like telling people, she's like, I know you can trust this one, this one, and this one. Everybody else, I don't know what you're gonna do. And so it's just a really good book. It's really interesting. Tom Taylor and the entire team is just killing it on this. Again, I think if you like
Tom, I love Tom. He's a fantastic writer.
Yeah, he's really consistent. And he stays that way here. So Seven Secrets #6. I think everyone should go pick it up. And another great book, Immortal Hulk 42.
Ooh, I haven't jumped into this one yet. I know I need to, but
I know you have.
I've been trying to catch up on Daredevil first.
Because that's good too.
Yeah, and by the way, like I know that you and like some of the listeners suggested Daredevil to me, and y'all were right. It's good.
Yeah, it's
good. It's really good. So I'm assuming if y'all were right about that, Immortal Hulk must also be as amazing as everyone says.
Again, like I think one of the things that I also really like about this title is that it's still just going. It's like 42 issues. It hasn't been like given a new #1 and hasn't been relaunched. And again, I understand kind of why that happens as far as like marketing and promotion and why, and just like trades and collections, why putting a new #1 out. But I feel like if Al Ewing wants to, and if Marvel like allows him to, this is one of those runs, it can hit up into like the hundreds because
wow.
Yeah, because run. Yeah, and it's just like I would kind of love to see, because I don't feel like we've gotten that from a writer in a really long time. So, but like if he wanted to, again, like I don't know, he might plan to end this story at issue 50, 51, 52, whatever. I think he could go all the way. This issue is a little bit different from the last few, where a lot of the supporting characters actually take center stage. Like, so Gamma Flight's been a part of the book. Titania is actually on Gamma Flight now, so it was like fun to see
Titania.
Her. Yeah, she's there. We saw like just some of the other characters in this world and like what's been going on with them and how they're looking for Hulk also. So again, just a good book. I don't know, 42 issues. It's still good.
I'm gonna get into it on Immortal Hulk. I mean on Marvel Unlimited. I'm going to check it out for sure.
That will definitely be a good spot to do that. Okay. And I actually enjoyed this one. Yeah. Marauders 17 was next up on the list.
Yeah, this was a good one. I liked it.
This was good. And you know, I've kind of had a little bit of an up and down on Marauders.
You could say it. You could say it.
I've been a little up and down on Marauders, you know, some of the issues. But you know, I was really interested when I saw the preview from the Storm Callisto fight, and how like it was talking about the Crucible and like how you had to bring your own person to the Crucible now that Apocalypse is gone, and just her picking Storm. And it's different from the fight and the feud that they've always kind of had. This is like genuinely just like respect, and you are the only person who I can trust to do what needs to be done for me in this type of way. And I thought that was a really great moment for them. Again, the fight scene was amazing. Storm is
who would
that
you
girl.
Pick to take into the Crucible with you?
Oh, Danny, for sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's the only one who could take me, honestly.
I know, that's right.
Like, the other girls wouldn't be able to compete. It's just like
I know that's right.
Who would you take?
You know, I feel like I would take, if we could pick someone that high up, I'm going with Magneto. Because for sure, you know, I would definitely be Team Magneto in all of this. And, you know, I feel like he would give me the most glorious of deaths and battles. And the speech about, you know, me being a mutant would be so spoken. So I would totally go with Magneto.
Okay. I can see that for you. I definitely see that.
Crush
Polaris
me, Daddy.
Crying on the side.
Yes, exactly. You know, Polaris off there being like, no, don't kill him. Yes, I want that.
Okay. I'm down for that. So yeah, I thought that was really nice in Marauders, how it was done with them. It was also really interesting for Storm, and just, you know, she kind of talked about where she was in Marauders and what she's been doing and how she's kind of like found her footing again. And she's like, now I'm about to do something else. Do you think that is her leaving the X books in general, or it's just like her doing something else in the X books?
You know, I actually loved that part of this book because I think I've been enjoying Marauders since it's been going on. It's been like pretty pretty consistent for me. But my biggest complaint has been the shine that all the other characters get, because for the most part, it's been the Shadowcat and Emma book, and I'm not the biggest fans of either of those characters. I came into Marauders for Iceman and Bishop, and to see what was going on with Storm. But I feel like all three of those have pretty much just been like wallpaper in this, or they come in, use their powers or something, and then leave. But they don't really get too much of a story. So for me, for this, and seeing that Storm has been, I guess, dealing with her own emotions and everything that's kind of going on, and she's like, I got to get up out of here and do my own thing. I hope that leads into like a Storm solo book, because I think it's time for her to just have her, like, give her more backstory and just stop relying on the fact that she's Storm, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like there's been this big push for Storm, and we all love Storm, but it feels hollow for me because there's never really too much story there. It's just, she's just there. So if this is going to lead
it's like
into
a Carol
something,
issue.
Exactly. Carol had that problem bad. And it's like, okay, we see the name, but we want to see the character. And I hope that this is going to lead into more Storm stories, and not just Storm. I don't want to see Storm lose her powers and, try to regain them again. We've seen that. I don't want to see Storm, trying to battle and deal with being like the leader of the team or something like that. We've done that already. I want to see more of Storm's history, maybe her family and all that kind of stuff. I think that it's time. And I hope that that's what this is kind of leading into. Although I think it would be cool to kind of see the Storm solo book kind of show all of the roles that she has on Krakoa, with, the Reverend Mother of Resurrection and of Krakoa, her council seat. I feel like she's everywhere, and I would love to see how she actually feels about all these things. This was the book where we see that she approves of the Crucible. It's not like she disapproves of it. She just don't want to be a part of it. Which
I thought was really interesting.
Right. I think that was really cool. And I would love to see more of that from Storm. I don't want to only get that one page like that in Marauders,
Yes, I get that. I completely agree with that too. And it's interesting that you say you haven't really been enjoying Kitty and Emma in this book, because I would agree that that's kind of been like my biggest thing with it. But I actually really enjoyed them in this issue. And
what's wild is like I did like them in this.
It was just like, I was like, this was actually really fun. Emma kind of like shading Sebastian and like saying to Shinobi, your powers are more like Leland's instead of Shaw. It's like we might need to do a DNA test.
I was like, oh, she's being messy.
Yeah, I was just like, okay.
I was like, come on, Emma Mori, poor bitch, doing the test, and what did the results say?
So that was really cool. And then Kitty was just being Kitty, doing her thing.
Yeah, she was just being Kitty.
I guess you gotta respect it.
Yeah, at this point, that just is what she's gonna be. So again, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of those two characters, but I did enjoy them in this. Emma's whole like telepathic machinations that she was doing in the beginning, where she erased Shinobi's memory and stuff because she was trying to figure out if he knew anything about, Shadowcat's death and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was really cool. I don't really understand the point of Christian Faust. But I don't really understand the point why he's ever really there, but other than the fact that his sister is Emma.
Is he supposed to be a mutant? Does he have powers? Do you know?
You asking the wrong bitch. I have no idea.
I don't know.
I'd assume maybe at this point, doesn't her sister has powers, right? Didn't she have powers? Adrian, I think.
I think Cordelia was like an empath.
I have no idea. Listeners, y'all tell us what's up. I don't know if Christian is supposed to have powers or not. If he's also a telepath or something.
Super fans.
Yes. I got a lot.
So yeah, Marauder 17, really enjoyed it. Think I'm going to continue picking it up just to keep seeing where the story goes, especially if it stays like this. If anything, like if Storm is definitely leaving, I also wonder if that means they're going to bring in some new people. Oh, Pyro's on this team also, isn't he?
He is on this team. I forgot he was on this team. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, so I wonder if her void will kind of let some of these other characters flourish, or if they'll just bring in somebody new to replace her. So
yeah, I'm in though. I this is gonna be the book I think where we get the Hellfire Gala, which is going to be the debut of the candidates for the X-Men. So I think that will be a really fun issue. I can wait for the looks for the gala, to be honest.
The gala's gonna be great. I cannot wait.
Let me get my outfit ready now.
Okay. Oh, and the last book on the list, S.W.O.R.D number 2. Let's talk about it.
It gives. I loved this book. S.W.O.R.D, I think, is becoming one of my favorite X books, even though we only in the second issue.
Let's talk about it.
I really love this. My top 3 favorite X women are Polaris, Jean, and Frenzy. And Frenzy in this book is
everything.
We love her. Yes, I love when she saw Magneto and Cortez talking, and she was like, "Now look at this shit."
Exactly. She was like, "Here we go, repeating history." She was like, "These men are stupid."
Men are stupid. Exactly. I absolutely loved that. I love the elevated status that she's getting currently. I was afraid that she was going to be lost in the shuffle. Once we got to the whole Krakoa era, because everyone was now on the board and all these books can kind of pick anybody. But I really love that she's been in this. This issue was a King in Black tie-in, but it didn't feel that way. Which
Al Ewing,
or at least I didn't say. At least I should say it didn't feel like the event was taking over the book. It still felt very much S.W.O.R.D.
Yeah, I'll say Al Ewing is great for that. I think all of the tie-ins he's had to do for King in Black and a lot of these other events, he's been really great at just kind of working his own story in to make it fit, or making the King in Black part of it very small. So it's just kind of okay, we hit it and then we keep on moving. Obviously I think this one's going to take up a few more issues that we left on the cliffhanger, that Cable has been infected by Null, again, a Venom villain apparently.
Yeah. So yeah, he's like I think from a previous universe or something, when the universe collapses or something, and he's survived, I believe, and he's the king of all of that kind of stuff. So he's just big space threat, overpowered,
he's just killing everybody apparently.
Yeah. So but in this, I want to know what exactly Protocol V is, which obviously is Protocol 5, and she needs the 5 for some reason. So I don't know what's going on.
It's why is she taking them off planet? And it's is she taking them off just to kind of keep them safe in case Krakoa falls? And it's we can keep them up in space and do something with them. Is there something else going on? I think that was really exciting. I also really enjoyed how you kind of brought up when Frenzy was looking at Magneto and Cortez. I just love the entire Cortez experience that this book brings, because it's been one of my opinions.
Al Ewing is making Cortez fun. That's
he
dope.
Is fun. And it's he's one of those characters that you're going to love to hate, and you hate
for sure.
And it's good. But because I've always also kind of had the opinion that I think they should have made Cortez one of the captains of Krakoa just for the mess.
The mess, that'd be so messy.
But it's great to kind of see him in this still somewhat high position role, and again, be bringing exactly what I would have wanted him to bring to the captain's table. So it's that's fun. I also really loved Brand's data page where she was talking about his possible replacements in the whole redacted page. I've been going down my D-list hole trying to figure out who this redacted person is.
Yeah, I couldn't quite figure out who that person is either. But it's got to be someone that Ewing is just going to be pulling from. Who knows? Because I was trying to I remember before trying to figure out who the psychic the head of the psychic portion of S.W.O.R.D was going to be. And wrong. Yeah, I was too. I don't know who I was. I guess I wasn't thinking of Mentalo, but the reasoning for her picking him in her data page was really, really cool. I like that. She was like, "Oh, I have to make him think. I have to make him think that he is the choice that I made, and really he is the choice that I made because I needed him for a specific reason."
Exactly. Yeah, that was.
I think that's really dope. How did you like seeing Sunfire in this? I feel like we haven't seen him in like who knows how long. And I
So
thought this was
Sunfire is a character that I feel like I like in theory, but when I actually go back to read anything with him in it, he either is a villain or he's just not making a big appearance at all. And so it's kind of I've kind of got
he's
to
also
like,
like, isn't he like anti X-Men, or like he's not really into all this like
he's been like, I don't like y'all a couple of times. So I don't know. It was nice to see him. It was a really great moment. Like, again, I love Cortez and the little like Machiavellian speech he gave him, like, go be our son, and then like Sunfire comes up all powered. Obviously, we know Cortez's powers tend to have a little bit of an addictive effect. So we'll see like what if that continues, even though he said he's eased it up. It's like, is something still gonna happen with
it's
it?
Like, did you really do that?
Yeah. And it was a great showing for Sunfire. I don't know. I guess I'm always interested in Sunfire, if that makes sense.
Me too. I feel like I want to like him, but again, like kind of like you said, his appearances, he usually is like against the X-Men, but not in the point where he is against their like ideologies and he wants to kind of throw on his own. He's always like, I don't even like y'all, so I'm out.
Yeah,
and then he leaves.
And then he's like, or he's possessed by, he's a horseman of apocalypse. And then like even him on Uncanny Avengers, I think about that, and I can't tell you anything that happened with him in that book.
I just remember him being taken over by Apocalypse, and he was used to torture Wolverine. Like they made his powers infinitely turned on, and Wolverine was just going to be constantly burned in that book. I just remember that because I was like, well, that's dark. But damn. Yeah, I was like, all right, we get it.
All right, somebody was mad that day.
Yeah, for real. I do like WizKid in this book, though.
Oh, WizKid is amazing. Shout out to WizKid.
Yeah, I think he's awesome in this. I love the way that they really like. I feel like the last time I ever really was getting like stories with him was when I was reading like the X Factor Volume 1. I think when he was like first kind of introduced, as this like technopath and kind of really powerful technopath at that. He took out that one like null space symbiote dragon thing in one shot and was like, I'm not worried about that. I got other things to do.
No, I was about to say like Ewing has like, and that's again like Ewing minds these like D-list type of characters, and when he brings them back with such personality. It's just like, yeah, how can you? Why hasn't this person been around forever? Like, if this is what we could have been getting. So I really do enjoy WizKid. Great stuff. It's just good. This is just a good book.
Yeah, I love the organization of all of this and all the different team colors. This feels like a department. Kind of, it feels really like a department or like a branch of Krakoa, or this combination of Krakoa and S.W.O.R.D or whatever. I really like what they're doing in this book.
Again, I've always said like I never really cared for the mutants in space stories, but now that the mutants in space makes sense, and I'm loving it.
Exactly, I'm into all this for sure.
All right, well, that was the books of the week. And let's go ahead and take a little break.
Yes, let's take a break. All right, y'all. Welcome back to the panel section of the show. This week, I wanted to give everyone a little bit of a talk about Vision. So, we all know that WandaVision just came out. Scarlet Witch and Vision have been this couple for years at this point. They've pretty much always been kind of tied with each other. But I feel like we mostly always talk about Wanda and Scarlet Witch and like kind of how she's affected the Marvel universe. But I wanted to take a bit of a turn and do more Vision talk and see how people kind of felt about him. So, Vision debuted in the Avengers number 57, and those like Silver Age books were a lot of fun because they would pack in a lot of information in one book. And in that one series, he not only not in that one issue, he not only debuted and became and was shown as the Vision, he also like turned on Ultron and then joined the team by the end of it. So I think everything kind of happened fairly quickly, mostly because they just put in a lot of information in those Silver Age books. He was a synthezoid made by Ultron who wanted to take down the Avengers. The classic story of sending out my troop to take down the Avengers. He ends up turning back on Ultron and joining the Avengers. And I believe that his original body was supposed to be, they didn't know how it was made, whether it was like kind of like the Human Torch, the original Human Torch, the robot version, or if he was something completely brand new. And there's been like kind of some retcons there where they've said like, yes, he was kind of made from Human Torch's old parts or whatever. But my headcanon is, I don't know, he was just made completely by Ultron. I just leave it up to that.
Yeah. I think that's what I go through too.
Yeah, I don't need all the extra stuff. And like pretty soon after he even joins the Avengers and is on the team, he is controlled by Ultron. Ultron gets his adamantium, upgrade, and that's the kind of Ultron that we've known pretty much since then. Outside, I think currently actually Ultron and Hank Pym are like one now. I don't know what's going on with that. But shortly after he joined the team, he meets Scarlet Witch and they begin like this whole romantic relationship. I've always been kind of like whatever about their relationship. I think WandaVision, the TV show, actually kind of is making me really like it a little bit more and be into it, but we'll talk about that later, I'm sure. But I think as far as their relationship goes, I think I kind of like them. They kind of feel like they complete each other. Scarlet Witch is literally chaos. And whereas the Vision is, he balances that by being not chaotic. And but then again, he's also a robot and he doesn't have the same kind of emotional responses as a human would have. So after they even join the team, I think shortly after I think they get married, but like it was this weird marriage, and then they have these kids together, but they ended up like not being their children. I think she like magically created them from the souls of two things from like Mephisto or something like that. It ends up being this weird thing, and that's kind of like the start of her kind of breakdown, was the loss of her children that she had with Vision. I think she's always wanted to have this idyllic relationship with Vision, the white picket fence, and the kids and all that kind of stuff, but it just never really comes to life. What do you think about Vision?
So I like Vision. I haven't read like too much with Vision, or if he's been in things that I've read, I honestly didn't pay too much attention to his character. I do like his powers, the whole density control and being able to like phase and shift. And I'm really into like characters who can do things with their mass. I don't know. It's cool. I did go back and do some Vision reading for like WandaVision, because again, like Vision's one of those characters I was just like, I don't know a lot about. So I read this mini series that he had from Bob Harris and Manny Clark, and it was actually like really fun. It was like pure, like kind of like late 80s, early 90s, just ridiculousness. Death Cry's in it, Crystal's in it. Hank Pym appears, Jocasta appears. So basically what's happening is there is this villain named Anti-Vision, and he is creating this virus that infects all the synthezoids and like makes them switch their personalities back and forth. Like they don't know who they are. And so there's like a point in time where Crystal and Deathcry go look for Vision, because he's been missing for a month now, and they find him and Jocasta are like holed up in some building as a detective agency, and he's going by the name Simon Williams. And
okay.
And so like I thought that was interesting. And then he also like has another episode where he like goes and attacks some woman because there's another man. I guess there's this whole story about how there are these two people, Simon Williams, aka Wonder Man, and like this other guy, and how I guess their thought processes have been ingrained in Vision. So a big like part of the story is he's kind of trying to figure out like, am I Simon? Am I this other guy? Am I Vision? Like, and who is Vision, and what does that mean? It's also really nice because I know you just said you like to see him with Scarlet Witch, you like that relationship, but in this one they're not together. And it's actually funny because Deathcry like has a huge crush on Vision that he like does not realize. And
it's probably because he's tall.
I think so. And Vision is actually into Crystal, and she like doesn't see her for him at all. So there's like this scene where after they've kind of like helped Vision remember who he is one of the times, you know, him and Crystal are talking, they're up on the roof, and she's like, you know, once we get you back together, like you'll understand like this is what friends are for, and this is what friends do. And Vision's like, oh, we're just friends. And Deathcry is like watching on the side, and then Jacosta's like, her and Jocasta have this really like antagonistic relationship. It's like so funny. It's like two housewives just bickering all day, and Jacosta's like, girl, you are in love with him and we can all see it, and it's like he don't think about you at all.
Well, that sounds like some good mess.
Yeah, so it was really interesting. Again, it was kind of one of my first like forays into like Vision on his own, and seeing him not around the characters who he's always around.
So yeah, it is nice to see Vision kind of break away from the Avengers and Scarlet Witch. As I said, I think I like them together, but it's always best to see kind of how they feel about the greater Marvel universe and themselves when they're separated from each other. I know that y'all know I love Wonder Man. So a part of his story has always been like, am I human? Because I am this ionic energy stuff. And the other side of that for Vision has always kind of been like, what am I? Because I have been made up of other things before. You know, after the Wonder Man, I think when he first died, they kind of basically put him on ice. And originally, I don't know if it was ever really in the plan to use Simon Williams's brainwaves, but it seemed like that was kind of what they wanted to have as a reason for why he was able to kind of think like a human. And around the time when he debuted, the only real, I think Simon had like kind of just died. So he was like the only real person who was available for them to kind of say, oh, we actually like, you know, recorded his brainwaves, and that's kind of where Ultron got it from. So I have been more into Vision when he's kind of broken away from that, and he isn't, you know, basically a clone of Simon or a clone of Hank or whatever. I like it when he kind of discovers who he is and what he wants to be. I don't know if I don't even think his brainwaves are even still like based on anybody else. I think it's just him now currently. I'd have to go back and like kind of research and see if that's.
I don't think so. I think another Vision series that I did read was the Tom King Vision series, which is like highly recommended.
I know I've heard people always talk about this. I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, like if you never know anything about Vision or you've never heard about Vision, like read that Tom King miniseries. Like that's really all you ever need. It's just really great, and I feel like during that the whole brainwaves of Wonder Man thing wasn't touched on. But you know, again, like I think the family that he created, the wife was based on Wanda's. Oh wow! If I recall correctly.
Okay. I wonder if that was them kind of saying like, you know, he pretty much always wants to end up going back to Wanda.
Yeah.
You know. So. Yeah, I think that they are probably getting to the point where they are always going to be intrinsically together. Like it's just them, you know, kind of like I've kind of also accepted that about like Jean and Scott, like they're always going to be kind of always end up going back towards each other in this stuff. So I think that's kind of what happens with Vision and Scarlet Witch. Like they're like, eventually they're gonna get back together and try to be a couple. The one thing that I'm kind of glad we've moved beyond with the Vision was the deconstruction of him. He gets torn apart a lot. I felt like a lot of times he gets just like ripped apart. Like a lot of his story has been, oh no, Vision's been destroyed. We got to build another one, you know? So I hope that they've kind of come away from that story for him more recently. Did you like him in Avengers Disassembled and kind of what he was going through there? As well as, you know, Scarlet Witch, that was kind of a bigger story for her where she was literally going through it and her powers were just kind of affecting everyone around her. And
she like killed him in that, didn't she?
No, that was She-Hulk. She-Hulk again was the one who she ripped him apart, literally ripped him in half.
Oh, that's right. I don't really remember too much about Avengers Disassembled, honestly. It was more so everything that came after that. Mm-hmm. I think, again, like you said, it was kind of more of a bigger story for Wanda than it was for Vision. I know he kind of had like some weird moments in like Young Avengers and like with the Kang thing and like kind of getting brainwaves for that and then turning back into the adult Vision. And I think he in Avengers No Road Home, the sequel to Avengers No Surrender, he had like a really dope moment in that as well. And like he's had like a new suit or his new robotics been upgraded. It just looks good. I think his design is very good.
Yeah, I do like his design a lot.
Yeah. So it's got some good stuff.
Yeah. Are you a fan? Would you like to see more Vision on the Avengers, or would you rather see him kind of go off and do more things with Wanda?
So neither of those. Just because, again, I feel like all the Avenger stories I've read with Vision, you know, outside of something like No Road Home, he kind of like falls to the wayside a little bit, or they pretty much make the story about Wanda because she's also on the team. After reading that miniseries,
they do the same thing with Wonder Man.
Yeah, those poor boys. After reading like that miniseries and then kind of like thinking about the Tom King Vision series, I think I would actually prefer like Vision to just be on his own for a little while. Again, like there was some Wanda still mixed in the Vision series, but like that's fine. It wasn't the main driving point. And like we see him kind of like beat up the Avengers and like to be shown as this powerhouse that he really is, which is always cool. And I've realized I just don't really think I find his interactions with any of the other Avengers interesting.
I wonder if it's because they're so robotic. Like it's just like they don't really have too much like, you know, personality interactions with them.
And that's the thing with Vision too. It's like, you know, Avengers is kind of a boys club. And it's like all the guys are like, it's always Cap and Thor and Iron Man and doing whatever. And that's what another thing I think I really liked about that Vision miniseries is that like he had all the girls with him. It was like Crystal, Deathcry, Jocasta. It was just like
we love that.
Yeah, it was just like no. I was like, oh, like look at all these other people get some shot, and it like works because he plays very well off of them, just because of like the type of characters that they are. So if Vision could kind of like get back with that crew some type of way, yeah, maybe then I'd take him on the Avengers because I feel like they actually like cared about him in a way that the men of the Avengers never really have. So that
I think you're right. I feel like the other men on the team don't really. They probably obviously see him as a teammate, but they never really like legitimize him as like a friend, I guess.
Yeah, you know, as like a living person.
yeah. It's just like I almost feels like they always just see him as their living weapon that they can kind of call on to use their powers and everything like that. Although he obviously wants to be more of a regular person. So
so
I'd like to see more of that.
That would be interesting. Yeah, I think that would be a thing. I would like to see him kind of either go on his own again, or if he's on an Avengers team, like with Avengers characters who actually care about him, so you can get more story.
Now, I know that you said that you read the Tom King Vision run. How did you feel about his new children that he kind of created?
They were great.
And Vin.
They were actually like, again, that series, everything about it. I know Viv has like gone on to the Champions. I don't really keep up too much with the Champions and what's going on over there, but I know she's got like some interesting development. I think she had like a thing with Ironheart for a brief period in time, so that was kind of fun. But the Vision family is elite. We love them. Like we love them over here.
I haven't gotten into them yet because I need to read that book. I know it's only 12 issues, so I could probably knock that out soon. But I know that his children, I don't know, whatever happened to Vin, is he still around or is he? No,
I want to spoil the book for you.
You're right. You know what? You're right. Thank you. I'm going to read it. But I like Vision and I like him as a father. I do hope that he can kind of get his shine as a character and it isn't just always kind of riding Wanda's coattails as far as stories go. I think that I don't think that you always have to tie him into with Wonder Man or Grim Reaper and all that kind of stuff because again, I feel like that's always like that's been done already. Every time one of them is resurrected, they always end up having a meeting with the other one, and they have to have this like, oh my gosh, remember when our brainwaves were like the same? You're like my brother, and I feel like we've done this already. We don't need to go backwards anymore.
Right.
I would love to see Vision kind of get his own kind of shine. I'm not sure if he should necessarily get like another solo book, but I'd love to see him. Maybe he could go on like the West Coast Avengers or something while Wanda stays in New York, and they can kind of maybe work on their relationship from afar, and he gets to go out and really discover more about himself and what he wants to do. You know, he gets to bring all his sweaters that he loves to wear.
He loves those sweaters.
And he loves a good sweater, a good knit sweater. So yeah, I think Vision is interesting. I like his powers and everything, but I think that he can kind of suffer from the chaos of Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, she's one people should stay away from.
Have you had any fun like Vision moments that you ever encountered before in your Marvel reading?
Fun. Oh, there was this moment when Sam was becoming the new Captain America, and I don't know, Vision tried to make a joke and like nobody thought it was funny, and he was just like complaining about it the whole time. And that was like a fun moment that I thought he had, because he was like, I'm funny, like you all need to like laugh at my joke. And like I said,
do you prefer him to be like more the robot, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just the robot, or do you prefer him to be kind of like amped up as a human, where I have human emotions and I can interact with people, I can crack jokes? Or would you rather be kind of like, I'm a robot, here I am?
I like a mix of both. I like a acknowledgement that like, yeah, I am a like synthezoid, I'm not like a normal human, however I'm still like funny and have a personality, and like I'm an actual living thing. So it's like, don't treat me like trash.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, you know, any kind of acknowledgement of him still being a robot is kind of cool. I remember in the Civil War movie, at some point he was asleep. He was just like floating, actually.
Yeah.
And I think moments like that are really cool, where you're still reminded that he is not human, but he wants to be.
Right.
Or at least just wants to be whatever he can be. So I think that's interesting. How do you feel about the Ultron Vision relationship?
So in the miniseries again that I just read, that was actually a part of it. Ultron was like there, and Ultron was one of the like one of the synthezoids infected by the virus, and so he had this like very heavy drunken fun dad type of relationship with Vision. He's like, hey boyo, like come over here, and he's like being very like happy with him and just like, I can't wait, but he's like also scared of everybody. Like he doesn't like to fight, he doesn't like to do all this stuff. And so finally Vision kind of comes up to him and he's like, look, you and I used to be enemies, but like you're gonna help me right now. He's like, I don't know, he's like, I know you're going through something, but you need to get it together. You are Ultron. He's like, help us out. So that I think that's a nice moment. Other than that, it's fine. It's like it's robot on robot hate. I don't think anyone ever wants to stat.
Exactly. I think you're right. I like their relationship. You know, I don't think it needs to really be developed further, because at this point it is what it is. You know, I think that I like Ultron. He's one of my favorite Avengers villains. Again, I like that. I like the robot, the big robot villain, because usually whatever they want to accomplish, they get done. And I like a villain that is so wrapped up in their own self and their own like righteousness that they see themselves as the hero, and they actually accomplish whatever kind of villainous thing that they were going to do. And it gives the heroes a moment to actually use their powers at the full extent that they can, because they're actually just fighting robots. So they're, I guess, allowed to do that more, versus if they're fighting like living beings, they usually tend to hold back. So yeah, I like Ultron as an Avengers villain.
Okay.
Yeah, I think overall, like, Vision has been, I feel like he's been around for so long, because like that Avengers 57 book came out in 68, but I feel like a lot of his stories have been, he's just been kind of there and on the team to kind of use his powers a little bit and kind of support Wanda, but I feel like only recently, probably within the last like 10 years, has he actually started to get pushed to get more of a story and a more like personality, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I can feel that. And I know Busick, his Avengers run has a lot of like the Wonder Man, Wanda, Vision stuff like throughout it. And I feel like I've heard good things about it. So I'm pretty sure it was enjoyable at the time, but it's like you said, it's like I'd kind of still love to see him pivot away from that, continue pivoting away from that a little bit more to just stay on his own line. Like if we got to dip back into it, we got to dip back into it, because I'm sure we'll dip back into it again. Like everyone apparently thinks Vision and Wanda are meant to be together, so it's just going to happen.
Exactly. I read that Busick run, that you got like a lot of Wanda in that. It was like pretty much, that's actually where you get the retcon of her powers being like chaos magic in that run.
Okay.
Yeah, so and you get like kind of like you said, it's you get the whole WandaVision Wonder Man thing going on there, because she brings Wonder Man back and he has to wonder if he is even real or if he's like basically a genie for Wanda to bring up whenever she wants to. And he also, of course, like I've said before, they have the whole relationship thing, and then they got to figure that out, always to end up deciding that they should not be together and that she should go be with Vision. So that was a great run for that, but I think it's time to like kind of move past that, and because we've done that already. So yeah, I think Vision could be fun. He just needs to kind of get more personality a little bit, and I think he can get that just by being around other characters.
Agreed. Bring back Deathcry. She was fun.
she sounds like a character you would like. Is she like a death bird kind of?
Yeah, she's S.W.O.R.D.
Okay.
And if you've seen her, she was a Guardian of the Galaxy at one point in time. Also, she's like purple. She's got like the big hair. She actually gets killed by what is Captain Universe at the time.
Oh,
because,
okay.
like,
yeah.
Because like something happens. Captain Universe basically like kills someone that she was about to kill, and she is just like so completely upset by this because it took away the honor of her kill, and that's not something that her kind does. And so she's just like really antagonistic, and he does it again. And so she's like, okay, now I'm going to kill you. And so he like kills her in self-defense. And I don't think she's been back since.
Well, they could replace her with Deathbird or something, or resurrect her somehow and bring her around.
Okay. I don't think she was a mutant though.
Oh, okay.
I think she was just like a
Shi'ar.
Yeah.
Bird thing.
Yeah. She's purple. She's fun. She's like, even in the Vision series, like I said, she's like just like constantly going at Jocasta, and she's just like, I don't know what you're talking about. They say something to her about puppy love, and she's like, I don't know why you think I would love a canine. It's just like, she's a cute girl. Bring back Deathcry. Give her and Vision a series. That's what they should do.
That's fine. Yeah, I'd love to see Vision, like, I don't know, on a different team, maybe Defenders or something like that, and getting to stretch his wings as a character and interacting with other people and doing that kind of stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to have a quick little panel about Vision, because I feel like we always end up talking about Wanda, and he should get some kind of shine too. So let's take a break, and then we'll come back for the discussion on WandaVision.
All right. We are back for the rewatch. The first watch of the rewatch. Yes. I've watched it a couple times now, actually, so it's still my rewatch. Same. But as I'm sure everybody knows, Disney Plus has finally released the first 2 episodes of WandaVision. We are back in the MCU. We are alive again. We are rebirthed. Oh, rebirth. We are nice. We are live. So let's dig right into it. What did you think of it?
They are now kicking off phase 4. I know that they obviously had plans to really kick this off last year, but the state of the world said no. But with Disney Plus, they were able to kind of get this up with the streaming, and I really liked it. I thought it was a really great first 2 episodes. I'm really glad that they dropped the first two, though. I will say that I think that if it was only that first episode, I think people would have been left a little like cold and confused, and waiting another week for the following episode would have probably maybe turned some people off. But I think having that first two together, kind of basically like an hour-long premiere, really was a smart idea, and really kind of got you to really dive into the whole thing. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about the whole sitcom and era thing, but I really actually enjoyed it. I actually found myself really laughing a lot.
Like it was so well done. Like I felt like I was watching like an actual sitcom from that time.
And all of the like little commercials that they would have in it were kind of a cool little nod for comic book fans, you know, the Strucker watches and the Stark toaster and stuff. I thought that was kind of cool. The first episode was the kind of 1950s episode, and shout out to, I can't think of the actress's name, but she was the mom from that 70s show. I think she's hilarious.
Yes. Like even before, like when they first walked in and like the lights were off and I heard that voice, I was like, is that Kitty?
Right? Yes, come on, Kitty. I thought that was great. She's really funny. And I think they also did like, this is kind of a classic trope, I think, within the sitcoms, or at least back sitcoms from that era, of the boss coming over for dinner and everything goes wrong, and then they kind of fix it and everything like that. So I thought that was a cool little nod that they did there. What really was awesome in this episode for me was the usage of Wanda's like chaos magic and what she was able to kind of do. And it almost felt like she and Vision kind of knew that they were doing these things with their powers, but it was like okay for them to do. But I felt like that was like wrong, and that she shouldn't have been able to know how her powers were. I don't know. It felt like there was this weird undertone there of like, oh, I've got these powers and I'm living in the 50s with my man. But like, that's not, that shouldn't be doing
this. It's like, this is wrong. Like, this is wrong. But it's like, and I agree with that, especially during, I want to say, what was it, the second episode where the beekeeper came up out of the manhole.
Yeah.
And she's like, no. And then like everything just kind of like reverses back, and it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, girl, you're doing something wrong. Like, but again, like this is pure Wanda. Wanda is always doing something wrong. She's always messing something up. She's chaos.
She is usually ruining something. And but I think that's always about her character, because again, it's chaos. So that's what she provides, and then people have to kind of fix it around her. Or she is chaos even though she wants to not be. And Vision is kind of like the center of where she finds non-chaotic moments, and she wants to keep that around her. I thought it was super cute with them just moving into this home, and he tries to walk her into the threshold and carry her, but he phased through it and dropped her. I thought that was kind of cute. That was really cute. And then she's later trying to prepare the dinner. I thought her neighbor Agnes, Catherine Hahn, is hilarious.
Agnes deserves to spin. Agnes and Dottie, they deserve to spin. My girls, yes. My girls.
Yeah, I thought that they were really, really great. When Agnes was in the second episode and they were at that kind of meeting with Dottie, and she was like, I don't know how any of you can do this sober. I was like, I know that's right, girl. I thought that was really funny. I really enjoyed in the first episode. It went by really quickly, but I really did enjoy where the moments where you start to see that she's starting to crack a little bit. And actually, I mean, Wanda. I feel like some people may have wanted this to be this big bombastic thing of like, oh my gosh, she's losing her mind, she needs to be put in a straitjacket or something. But I'm really enjoying kind of the slow burn of all of this, because as that first episode started to end and she was like, wait a minute, we don't have like an anniversary or wedding rings and all that kind of stuff, and things start to crack for her, and she can't figure out the answers to those kind of questions. And Kitty is like saying stop it over and over again while the boss is like choking.
Yeah. And it was like, I felt that too, because it was like, you can stop it, but it's like, we're not supposed to be saying that you can stop it, but it's like, stop it.
Yeah. And then like all of a sudden Wanda's tone changed, and she was like before she was like, oh, I'm a 50s housewife, and oh my gosh, she's so cute and bubbly. And then the tone of her voice changes. She's like, Vision, help him. and like all of a sudden he just like gets up and phases the chocolate thing out of his mouth, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute, is she controlling him, or like what's going on here? My theory for all of this has been, I'm not sure if you ever read Avengers Standoff, but it was this event over in the Avengers book that happened back in like 2016, 2017.
Wait, no, I remember. That's when Pleasant Hill, they had like all the villains in that like kind of fake neighborhood, because that's when Steve went young again, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So they have this whole S.W.O.R.D made this place called Pleasant Hill, and they used like fragments from a tesseract, I think, from a cosmic cube. I think those things are the same thing, actually. So they S.W.O.R.D used fragments from a cosmic cube to make this Pleasant Hill area where they, instead of imprisoning villains, they would put them in Pleasant Hill, and they would change their memories and alter who they kind of were. I remember like Graviton was changed into like a chef or something, and like some other characters were like changed into these different personalities within Pleasant Hill, and they kind of use this as a way for the villains to kind of rehab themselves and maybe become something better instead of just being in jail. But then there's this like little creepy girl named Kobik, I'm sorry, in this, and she is actually the living like cosmic cube. I feel like they are pulling a lot from that in this, with like sprinkles of House of M, where I feel like with this show, this Westview place was probably created by S.W.O.R.D. Not by S.W.O.R.D, by S.W.O.R.D to kind of monitor quote unquote weapons or anything that they kind of want to do. And they kind of have this area where they kind of are monitoring stuff. However, I don't think that they were ready for Kobik, or in this situation, Wanda, to also be affecting the area that they kind of created. And now she's actually taking over for Westview. That's kind of my little theory that I think is going on. I think like that. Yeah. I went back and read Standoff. It was a fun event in my opinion, but I feel like instead of just going straight up House of M and going really like, crazy with all of this stuff, I think that they're pulling from that with like sprinkles of House of M, because she is getting what she wants, which is of course Vision and her home with him and all that kind of stuff.
So, with that kind of theory, do you also think there's still like another potential player in the mix of this? Because one of the big takeaways for me, obviously, like we just said, was Agnes. And Agnes, I'm sure, is probably going to be revealed in some form or fashion to be Agatha Harkness, who we all know is like the mentor to Wanda, her witchy mother, all that good stuff. And one of the things that I noticed a lot of was the emphasis on children for Wanda. And I'm wondering if like maybe Agnes or Agatha came in some way, like if Mephisto, again, we know that Wanda is going to be involved in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and we're assuming that like we might have some more like Mephisto stuff on there. So I'm wondering if that kind of also plays into this, and that's why we have to get like the twins. Does somebody want her kids or like kids from her some way?
I think that was actually like a really early plot for her in like really old Avengers comics, when she first started having Billy and Tommy with Vision, like when she first kind of magically created them. I believe that Mephisto didn't want that because he knew that her kids were going to be like too powerful or something and like probably get rid of him. So he probably wants her to have the kid so he can control that power and he can have that kid for himself. I think that you're right. I think that Agnes, or who we all kind of assume is probably going to actually be Agatha Harkness, I think that she was either brought in and ended up getting like entangled in all this mess. Like she was there to kind of watch Wanda, but then she also ends up getting like mind wiped and changed into Agnes or something. Yeah. And I think that probably her original mission was to be not necessarily a spy, but kind of like watch Wanda and probably teach her eventually. But I think probably Mephisto is involved in that somehow and probably was like sending her out there to kind of do that kind of stuff. Or she's just there on her own accord and she just wanted to help Wanda because she realizes that Wanda is actually a witch and her powers are the chaos magic. And she is like, okay, well, I need to be there for her. But unfortunately, she probably ends up getting, like I said, kind of wrapped up in in all of this.
Very interesting. Okay. I mean, I'm into it. I'm ready for the next few episodes and just to see where it goes. I think the mystery was really great. I love the way they kind of did the laugh track and how it kind of died down in more serious moments and they kind of like lower the music. It felt creepy and rigid along with the humor. It always fit in very well. Everyone was acting their asses off. You know, I know sometimes.
Oh yeah, they
some
were
people
the
say
great
that,
acting in this.
like phenomenal. I know that's a thing for like some MCU actors that people complain about, but like this cast, they were doing it. The scene where they were at the talent show and Vision had like the bubble gum stuck in his gears, and so he was kind of
That
drunk.
was great. Yeah.
Perfection, like absolute
Yeah.
perfection.
Yeah. Vision in this is a lot of fun. I think he's had like Paul Bettany is really having a lot of fun in this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he was really, really funny. I have caught myself laughing at him a bunch of times in this. I think that you can really tell that he's having a great time like doing this. And again, same with Agnes. You could tell that they're having a fantastic time being a part of this. The second episode introduced the character who I'm most excited to see in this, and that's Monica Rambeau.
Monica.
Tiana Paris is beautiful. Like she's gorgeous. Her. And oh my gosh, I love everything about her and her introduction into this. And I can't wait to see how she kind of comes to terms with all of this. I think that I'm sorry, I keep saying Shield, but Shield is no more. She is a S.W.O.R.D agent. And I think that she ended up getting entangled in all that mess as well. Like I said, I think that this place was supposed to be controlled by S.W.O.R.D, but you know, I think Wanda is the one who's actually taking control of it. So like, I think Monica, or Geraldine, as she thinks her name is, in this show, I think that she was a S.W.O.R.D agent, but somehow got wrapped up into all this. And now her memories have been completely taken from her, and she thinks one thing, but slowly but surely, everyone is realizing that, wait a minute, this isn't right. Like, I should not be here.
What did you think of the scene where Wanda and Dottie were talking and like someone starts calling on the radio for Wanda, like kind of like breaking through and like Dottie hears it and everything? Does that also still fit in with your whole kind of standoff?
Yeah, a little bit. I feel like that is where things kind of start to get a little like dicey and crazy there, where I think S.W.O.R.D has been the one kind of controlling all this stuff. And when they were on that radio being like, you know, Wanda, who's doing this to you? What's controlling you? I feel like S.W.O.R.D is trying to understand why she's like altering this reality and stuff around her. Like, why are you doing this? Who is forcing you to do all this kind of crazy magic stuff here? When really we were just supposed to be rehabilitating you and kind of helping you get back control of your life. I mean, she's been through a lot. Like, technically, I mean, Vision isn't alive anymore, right? So like, but he is here, and we know he isn't alive because we saw the stones go back. We saw him get destroyed. So, but in this, he has like the Mind Stone in his head. It's clearly not the real Mind Stone, but it's whatever she kind of magicked up.
She also even like made a joke about his head in the first episode and like how it's like indestructible or something like that.
Yeah, when she said that, I was like, I don't know, girl.
That's been proven false.
Yeah, I don't think that's right. And there were a lot of really cool Easter eggs like that within this show that I liked. One thing that I noticed, I don't know if anybody else kind of saw it, but in that second episode, while they're doing that whole Bewitched intro, when they get to the living room and sit down, there was a part where you see this helmet that looked exactly like Grim Reaper's helmet. And Grim Reaper is Wonder Man's brother. And so I'm like, hold on.
Is he coming? Is Simon Williams?
No, hold on.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that intro.
Yeah, go back and check that out, because I saw that and I was like, no, hold on, wait. If Grim Reaper's there, Simon probably isn't too far behind. So I think that's really cool. Although I really don't hope that they do a whole like that whole "we need your brainwave" thing, because I think that's convoluted. But I enjoyed the second episode a little bit more than than the first, which was awesome.
Definitely.
I think if they're each going to keep getting better like that, that's dope. I thought that the second episode, when you started to get introduced to these like color moments and it wasn't black and white. So like when Wanda walks outside and she finds that like helicopter in the bush, and it has the S.W.O.R.D symbol on it, and she's like, well, wait a minute, what is this? And then she's kind of like freaking out about that. And then later on, when Dottie like cuts her hand and she's like,
we see the red blood.
Yeah, and Dottie has a moment of like, what? Wait a minute, this isn't right. Why am I even bleeding? And then like that, she kind of snaps into, oh, you know what? Never mind. I'm going back to being this 1950s kind of a bitch moment. And
we love our housewife.
We do. So I think that the second episode was really, really great. And I hope that this is really just going to just take it all off. I can't wait to see what they do with the twins and everything in this. I think that's really cool. You know, she kind of popped up at the end of the episode like, oh, we want to have a baby? Cool, I'm pregnant now. So
that's how it should be.
I was like, oh, Scarlet Witch is unraveling.
Like, she's dangerous.
Yes.
She's dangerous.
Yeah, she needs to get a little bit of this under control, or at least we'll see if she ever does before anything kind of really just shatters itself. I'm really excited to see what happens there. I thought that talent show, like you said, was really cool. When Wanda was like, oh, she's used her magic powers to really just make everything kind of work. Like, oh, look, you know, it wasn't really he was flying. I was holding him up by a string. It's almost like she wants to keep her powers a secret from everybody else. Because I think she thinks that if they find out that she does have these abilities, then she's going to get kicked out of Westview, but that's where she wants to stay because there's no Thanos there. You know what I mean? Like there's nobody there's nobody that's going to take Vision away from her in Westview.
I like that. All right, WandaVision. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I'm definitely into this. I think that it was a risk for them to take. It wasn't the typical, you know, MCU like formula that I think everyone has criticized them about, where it's just, you know, quips and lighthearted
It got me
stuff.
really excited for like a lot of the other Marvel shows and how they're going to kind of do it. You know, I think we can agree that while the movies are fantastic, a lot of stories probably would work better in a television format. Definitely. And so, you know, things like this. And then, you know, She-Hulk is also going to be a comedy. So like seeing how this comedy is like kind of working and forming, it's got me really excited for like when we actually get to that one. And then, you know, just a lot of the other shows that are coming up. I'm like, this is going to be great. This is like, again, we're back in the MCU. It's time to get excited again. You can finally either get Disney Plus if you don't have it, or get the login information of a friend, because
we're here now and it's gonna keep going. I like that the Scarlet Witch in this was like able to still use her powers and stuff, because so many times in like superhero TV shows, I'm never really into them because the budget isn't really there. The budget is not there and things look real cheap, but it looked like Disney gave them the money that they could, whatever they wanted to use, because this
said, what you need to do,
it looks cinematic.
Like it looks great. I really, again, like that whole like scene with the boss came to dinner and she was like cooking all the stuff in the kitchen, had like all the plates and everything. I was like, this is just really well done. Again, the talent show where she's just like snapping and having like her little bewitch moments. They just did some really good stuff with her. And you know, I'm not huge on comic book Wanda,
right?
You know,
the Pretender.
I can admit that freely. The Pretender, you know, she's not really up there for me, but MCU Wanda, she's a guy I can get into.
Yeah, same. I think I like MCU Wanda a little bit more than comic book Wanda. And I think this show is going to probably make me like her relationship with Vision more than I do in the comics, because they always kind of seemed like that, like those characters that always end up gravitating back towards each other. But we see them fight and like separate or whatever, but I would like to see more of the relationship. They should probably have another ongoing. I know, but in the past they've had a Wanda and Vision, or at least a Scarlet Witch and Vision series. They should probably bring something like that back around.
I was actually thinking about going back to read that. It's also on Marvel Unlimited, and Steve Englehart wrote it, and so I've been realizing that I love Steve Englehart, so I think I might go try that out.
Yeah, he's written a lot of Wonder Man stuff too. That whole West Coast Avenger stuff was him. I should go back and check that out because I think that they probably would work best in a book together. You know what I mean? Like where they can kind of really dive into their characters and really shine on them. Like just put them in a book together, and it'll probably be pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I don't know. I'm down. I really want to see how Monica gets her powers. My hope is that they are not from Scarlet Witch. I don't want her to be it's okay if she's the catalyst for it, but I don't want her to just magically give
her
like
Monica.
Yeah. Okay, I don't want her. I don't want that to be that because then again, I would always feel like, well, then why can't she do that for everybody? Like,
exactly.
So I hope that we see exactly how Monica gets her abilities and actually what her role is in S.W.O.R.D. I have a feeling that she was probably inspired by Captain Marvel to want to be a hero like she was when she was younger in Captain Marvel, but she's going to go the S.W.O.R.D route instead of the S.H.I.E.L.D route, like kind of what Carol was doing back then. So I'm excited to see what they really, really do with Monica and Vision and Wanda. Obviously, they're the leads of the story.
Well, Monica's at the top of the list.
The Monica, yeah. But I'm here for Monica. Because I have a feeling that we may, once we start to get into that, we can probably start to see more Wanda and I'm sorry, more Monica in the comics. And I love that because I think Monica's an interesting character, a bit overpowered, but still very interesting, and I like her. So I'm in. WandaVision. How would you rate the first episode and the second one on a scale from like 1 to 10?
I would say the first episode I'd probably give a solid 7.
Yeah, same.
And I'd probably give maybe like a 8, 9 to the second episode. I really enjoyed both of them, so they're high scores for me.
Yeah, I'd give the first one like a 7, and I'd give the second one like a solid 8, really, because once she started to really like warp the time around her and it became like the next decade or whatever, and color was added, I was like, oh, she's losing it for real.
Yeah, like it's getting real. Like, so she ain't right. We need to get this under control.
Quickly before things get completely out of hand, which is obviously what's going to be coming up where things start to completely get out of hand. I think that voice that has been talking to her on that radio is Jimmy Woo. I think that
I've been like listening to like try and see if it sounded like anyone who we already know. Jimmy Woo's a good guest though. I like that.
I think it's Jimmy Woo. I think he is a member of S.W.O.R.D because he was a member of S.H.I.E.L.D, I think, in Ant-Man, but once that was done, I think that he probably got some kind of position on S.W.O.R D, and now that's where he is, and he's a part of whatever kind of like missions or whatever they're doing with this Westview place. But yeah, I'm in. Whatever they got coming up next, I'm ready for it. This is a fun way to kick off Phase 4. I'm really excited for whatever they got going on down the pipeline. They have said that I think this goes for like 8 or 9 episodes or something like that. And after that, Falcon and Winter Soldier starts. So pretty much for the next every Friday until like April, there's a new new being added to the MCU. So this is going to be really fun to like keep up to date with this kind of stuff. I'm excited.
Very. Okay, well, you guys be sure, all the listeners out there, let us know what you thought of WandaVision, kind of what your theories are for what's going on, what's happening, who you're loving, who you're not loving. I don't really think there's anyone on the show that I'm not loving yet. Everyone's actually
me neither.
Fitting perfectly. So, yeah, that was our rewatch.
Yeah, get into it, y'all. Let us know what you guys think. All right, that brings us to the end of the show. You can find us on Twitter at Another Relaunch. You can find us on email and send us any kind of feedback you have, any of your own relaunches you want us to read at anotherrelaunch@gmail.com. You can find me on Twitter and other social media at UncannyLZ. Keenan, where can they find you?
You can find me at Keenan Lance with an underscore at the end. So I've been thinking about like some of my favorite comic book adjectives. And since you have uncanny, should I add an adjective to mine?
Oh, that'd be fun.
I like Mighty. I'm probably not gonna do it, but I'm gonna think about it.
Think about it.
I'm gonna try
Workshop
some
it.
things out. You know, what's your quick aside? Do you have a favorite adjective that they use on new series?
I don't know. I think I do like uncanny. I like I don't really know if I really like astonishing as much. Because I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know if I like astonishing as much, but I do like uncanny the most. I had to think about it.
We'll get back to that.
Let me think about that.
We're gonna talk about that more. And
to prepare for next week, though, y'all, we are doing a reread of the first volume, the first 12 issues of Young Avengers. So next week we're going to be talking about the Young Avengers. It felt pretty appropriate to, do this since these WandaVision episodes have all really been about, they've really heavily been talking about children. So let's talk about the kids. So let's talk about the kids. So next week we will be talking about the first volume of Young Avengers. So check that out.
That's it. That's what we got. Thanks for listening, guys.
All right, y'all. We out of here. Peace.